Hello and welcome to part number 8 of building the 2007 LEGO Star Wars UCS Millennium Falcon. And we're on the home stretch with this project. It's essentially, I'll break it down in a moment because I need to. I finally found a way that I can move the Falcon without feeling severe anxiety about it every time I pick it up, which I'll show you in just a second. I'll be right back. But yeah, so essentially at this point it's really just panning and stuff. But I found a way to pick it up that doesn't cause me severe stress. I have to stand up. It is basically trial displaying it in between building sessions. And I'll admit I'm loving it, and it's crazy how big this model is. And I've said that a few times. But there's some LEGO sets you can look at as many pictures of the model as you want. But it takes actually having and building it yourself to understand how big some LEGO models actually are versus, the pictures and renders that I saw this thing for years on the internet, in the LEGO Star Wars books, as well as other places. Again, this set is far from one of the easiest to actually move, but it can be done. But I suppose, again, UCS Ultimate Collector Series set, not one you're really going to be moving all that much. Well, I doubt most people would, but yeah, you just got to see me lift it up and move it around there. Last night we got the cockpit added, or most of it. And of course we done one of the top panels, which we'll need to do tonight. It's another one of these short lives, but the way that I am doing things with work this week, it'll be a whole bunch of short lives. Of course, it means you get more live streams. And before anyone asks, because I know for a fact I will get this asked, it'll be either here or one of the other social medias or somewhere. There will not be a Tuesday filmed video because I'm doing all these lives. So keep that in mind. I'm not going to go producing an extra video when I'm doing all of this live content that I've been doing, because that one means I have to stop doing this, which at this point I would rather not. I would like to finish it. It's been a fun project for over the last week. Granted, maybe if those few days I took off from doing it, if I'd continued, will we completely finished? There's a high possibility that the answer to that is yes. But who knows? I'll have to find the remote for that. God knows what I've done with it. And there it is. Problem solved. And then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to get building all Planet Live for an hour, maybe an hour and a half max. I'm just tired, but that model is it meets every expectation I ever had for that set for all those years. So yeah, we'll have some, oh, hold on. Wow, there's quite a few good choices here. No, right then. To go on to this message before we get started. Got a review here of the original MTT. Cat Top Cautions, LEGO are releasing a new one.
Cat food, arriving today with Prime. That's off your mind, so now you can worry about something else like Xavier.
This might be the worst LEGO MTT build of all time, but it definitely has some classic LEGO Star Wars charm. 7% from 840 trade.
Turn it up a little bit.
price of $50.
Let's get these drawers out.
Classic Lego Star Wars box art on the top right with the yellow minifigs.
Well, this box here, right, which has 2 parts in it. What? That's it. We could potentially empty that one this stream.
Love the way the box art wraps around on the side. These earlier Star Wars boxes, and also has some nice like real life pics of the MTT inside of it. Now on the back, it shows the MTT all broken apart. With a nice view of the interior. It also highlights what might be one of the coolest features on Lego Star Wars set of all time, and some alternate builds, some of which we're actually going to have instructions inside the box. So let's go ahead and open that up. Inside, you're going to find this tray. Yeah, boxes were weird back in the day sometimes. Literally a building tray inside of your box. Kind of cool, but also kind of weird. You just got a bunch of unnumbered bags inside of there, some advertising pamphlets, and then the instructions were crazy good. Every page has this cool Star Wars aesthetic, and on top, they've got a still frame from the Phantom Menace. They also, for the number of steps that you're on, have Darth Maul hidden behind the step. Like, that's really cool. And then when you get to the back of each, things get crazier because you're going to find a comic strip. The second comic page that actually integrated alternate builds into the storyline here. And right of that, they like numbered which alternate build is which, and also pictures of multiple angles of the build so that you can recreate it yourself if that's what you wanted to do instead of building the MTT. They do the same thing on the next page as they built the MTT to kind of go underwater, so you get a really big alternate build, and then you get this really dope battle droid mech alternate build that they actually give really good instructions for at the end. They dedicate 2 full pages to that, so you can definitely build this the easiest way they show. It's just really cool that they have all this extra stuff at the back of the instruction manual. I always wonder how many kids would have taken advantage of this. Like, I know when I was younger, I was not into building the alternate builds. I wanted the set that I bought, but it's always been this really cool thing that people at Lego Star Wars used to do this, and they don't anymore. I don't necessarily think they need to be.
Very handy tool to have.
That's got to be one of the coolest instruction manuals I've ever seen from Lego Star Wars. Anyway, let's get into our set battle droids. Really not much to say about these. These battle droids, most of them are getting the mega instructions. This was, of course, well before they introduced the straight arm. You've got one that's supposed to pilot the MTT, but they didn't include a specific pilot battle droid. They didn't see it.
No, I have a look at that. This has 1 part in it.
2001, so 7 total battle droids. Nice enough. Obviously, more would be better, but for $2,000, for $50, yeah, I think 7's an okay number. Here it is, the 2000 MTT. Just a year after the Phantom Menace dropped, they dropped this little number, and boy, is it ugly. Oh my goodness, like what?
Before I enter this last tray, I'm going to put the instructions on the bed so I know I've made the correct amount of space for them. But we're going to be starting on one of the top panels. It's more or less just top paneling left on the Falcon and the plaque.
So it's pretty crazy that it's as colorful as it is, if you want to count the gray as a colorful color, but you get the point. It's just not all brown like it really should be.
There we go. That's on.
Bad looking. I wonder what this would look like if it had been all brown. Maybe it would be a better build, but the more I stare at it, the more I dislike it. Now, it does have some features still. It's got the inverted tiles on the bottom. It's going to allow it to move smoothly on some surfaces. It certainly feels like you see on every other MTT since this one, but at least allows for some movement over surfaces, and it connects some pieces on the bottom of the MTT a little bit stronger. So that's nice.
And of course, we have these 2 that I just move around as well. That's got small pieces. This one's the plates. So I've got the Falcon here, very big model, as I've been showing off. I'm going to turn it so the forks are pointing that way. Just easier. On the 2 MPTs that would come after this is where they would put the Technic piece that you would twist and then allow you to open up like the troop area, but that doesn't exist on this set. It's just completely brick built in those areas. So at the very least, there's no gaps here. 24P suffered from some major gap problems, but this one is. I don't know if the angle I've got the laptop at does it justice, but how big of a monster that thing is.
For the year 2000, throughout other areas on the MTT, especially in this back section, I think this area is decently well done for the year 2000. Again, none of this has aged very well. I'm really fighting hard to like just decently approve.
Alright, so I'm going to put these 2 bigger trays on the floor and just lift them up when I need them.
It seems, I mean, maybe they didn't make 4x8s in brown because these are 4x10s here, but they definitely could have made 4x8s in brown. There's no reason not. So very odd colors just all throughout this build, it really looks wonky. The more I stare at it, like I said, the more I dislike it. Maybe the highlight of the build would be the detail on the back, at least as far as the.
So these are the kind of top bits that will go kind of here. We did do the one on the other side last stream, so we're probably just kind of, like I said, we've done all that big technique bit. You know, at this point is you build modules and then they go onto it. That's pretty much where we're at. It's not going to get finished this stream, but it's going to get just a bit closer to being there.
They used what they could. This is when Lego was pretty much about to go broke, I think. So I get it, but I mean, they weren't helping themselves putting out products that looks like this, right? The last external thing, because that's what we're going to pick up on the inside, is this clear windscreen piece. I love that they've got that where you can have the droid that's going to be inside of there looking through to make sure he's not going to crash into anyone or maybe trying to crash into or run over some Gungans. So you pull this panel out and it will drop down. Inside there's a nicely printed control panel. You can see the inside of that glass.
Imagine this one will have a slightly different detail wise, just to mix it up, because it's all will have like bits that are differently colored.
Although it doesn't attach anywhere, it kind of hugs him in there a little bit. But if you did like flip this model over, he's coming out, right? Like he's not. There we go. He's not attached by any studs. There's that.
Right, where's that box that has like 2 pieces in it? There it is. It now has 1 piece in it. There's a tie between 2 boxes for which one will be emptied first. If you're confused why I've got all the boxes we're building this, the guy I bought it from sent it shipped, right, in a whole bunch of these drawers, and it was all organized by part and stuff like that. It's crazy.
It's okay. It's definitely what I want today, but for the time, definitely passable. So you lift that up, and then you pull this piece here, and you're gonna pull out your rack.
So you build the top, the other detail, then do those side panels, and they just clip on and go down an angle, kind of like a roof. What is it? Is it a roof? Very similar. It's very cool what they did here. So first off, let's load up this wood rack with our 6 battle droids. Battle droid weapons all on that rack there. So we get to have both. So this is what it looks like with all 6 battle droids on there. Kind of a funny position that they are in. You get all 6 of their. Right, and you get that one that has
this is how many it holds.
the shorter one. There we go.
Pretty acceptable. Definitely always will want more, but 6 and 2,000 for a $50 set, pretty okay. Placing it inside is a fairly straightforward process. You just have to line it up with the rails there, so really easy to do. Literally just sliding in between the black ones there once it's in.
1 and 2. Right. There's some detailing on it here, which is great. It's different from the other one. The one has like hints. I'm sure it has hints of red in it. It does, yeah.
It's really easy to push in, really easy to pull out. It's just on that rail system that I showed you guys. You can see everything in there, and then again, if I go to pull it out, it just slides right out. So it's not the craziest function or system, but again, I think it works in a fairly simple, easy to use way, and it wasn't overly complicated or anything. But it's a back in the day. Maybe the best way to describe it is simply that it just doesn't feel like a flashy moment. It's not like this epic time when like you finish your MTT build, now the droid rack comes out like it did in 2007 where you twist everything. Like this is much more calm of an experience way. And you close it back up and it's all manual.
Try to be all. So this won't be live for too long. The commentary may not be the greatest, as I'm trying to focus on getting some bits done to it.
The year after can also have its rack fit inside of the MTT. We'll just have to do the same thing again.
But I'll show you like I'll pull up the camera like kind of up close things that I was doing before.
Version from the set here, and you'll notice there are no antenna pieces on the one in the MTT, so you actually have to remove the antennas from this. Now it will fit just fine. So this again is the one from the droid carrier. It's really cool to me that they are interchangeable like this, and it does of course mean that it will work in the opposite direction. That's the one from the droid carrier. Still got the one from the MTT. Now this can be slid to your droid carrier just like that. Looks a little bit awkward without all the antennas on top that I'm used to, but it still works all the same, and then you kind of have a great combo of sets here.
Oh, and where is it? We have the first tub to be emptied of parts. It took the 8.5 stream. No, it's not that we've not been building it. We've been building it, but it took that long. I thought we'd have done it by now, but no, 8.5 stream in.
assume, I didn't double check, but there should be another one on the other side here. I think that's a really nice little hidden function in there, just adding some weapons to the side of the MPT, of course, without having to degrade the external look any further than they already did with all of the ugly colors and bricks and things they were using back in the day. Just, you know, a lot of the pieces that you would want just didn't exist yet.
Let's move off the bottom, of course.
Certainly very cool.
But yeah, I have had a few. Hold on, this phone going now. One second.
Fit another droid rack back here. It seems no, it won't fit. Oh, will fit. Okay, so you could fit technically 2 racks of battle droids in here at the same time. It's not going to be the prettiest thing ever, but it could fit more like that. Of course, a little more reasonably, you might want to just take a battle droid, stand him in there, and have him inside of the MTT like that, and then it closes up all the same. So I feel like that makes more sense. But literally, if you wanted to, you could fit a whole other rack inside of this. Now, that is not all this does. Like, there's no other way to access the interior here. So you think, like, why is it so closed off? You know, can't you access more? The answer is yes. You can access a lot more than just through this back panel. Now, you might be thinking, like, that's it? Like, this, you have to reach all the way in just like that, and that's kind of the only way you can access that entire back interior space? Well, it's a little bit more than just the back.
We've some pictures of it in the Discord.
MTT, there's this 2x2 black tile. You're literally just going to rip it off, and then the entire MTT can be pulled apart. That's literally what it's being held on by, and of course some Technic pieces there. The entire MTT rips apart once you take that 2x2 tile off the top. It's really insane. So get this front section kind of out of the way, and then this back section opens. Oh my goodness, it's insane. Open that up, drop that back door down for a little more light, but holy crap, is that not really cool? Like, it doesn't take anything away from the look of the MTT. Like, this looks like the backside perfectly. You never know that feature is there, and all of a sudden, it just opens up. It's crazy. In the middle section, honestly, there's not a whole lot going on. It's just big empty space. I wish there were some control panels there or something. It's just kind of bland to me. The side sections, though, are much cooler, featuring some translucent orange rods. I'm not really sure what they're supposed to represent, but they do look cool there. There's also some handles that the battle droids can hold on to if they would like, and then there's a nice control panel printed, and then like both sides are built exactly the same here, but at least a couple of printed control panels. Very, very nice stuff. And
already responses to that.
As a simple yet really cool playset for the early 2000s, like, it doesn't do all the things you want an MTT to do to a T, but it does a lot of things. Now, putting it back together is a breeze, as long as you have this facing the right way. It's just lining up those red Technic pieces straight on.
Right, so they're in.
Your black tile, attach it to the top, and you're done. Your MTT is right together. Really easy function to use. Surprisingly.
Right, apologies for that distraction there.
You really don't. It was nice. For a first version of the MTT from the year 2000, it's cool. I love that it did some unique stuff. It's certainly not what I would want to see out of an MTT today, but I also love that it exists. I love that we see where we've come from with LEGO Star Wars in MTTs. It really, even though the newest ones aren't the best maybe compared to 2007, this one certainly puts a lot of that in perspective, because this one is really atrocious, but not, like, I love it, but it's atrocious, all right? It's like having an ugly dog. You love your dog, but boy, is that an ugly dog. So I would not recommend buying this MTT modern day.
Yeah, the details on this one are completely different. I'm debating something, because I'm not gonna. There won't be a review on here, but until 2027 for the 50th anniversary of A New Hope, I'm kind of saving this video on that, and there'll be 20 years of the set, so I'm kind of saving it for that. But I'll have some videos, or if you're on the Discord page, or if you're on any of the other social medias I've got going with this, there'll be up close images of it in there. Well, this one, we can. We don't need it. I know. Watch it be like another couple of live streams until I can say that again. Got some cinema sins on in the background.
cute and stuff, but I think he or she is just obnoxiously waving their shiny metal ass in my face after taking 45 seconds to get through just 2 logos.
Really? Go, grab. Break the blinds.
Well, I mean, the blinds are right there. Woody and Pete aren't doing anything else. Would it be easier to just do it yourself, or did you need a quick character introduction joke for a 3-headed sheep? I've said it before, I'll say it again. Slinky Dog Slink should be as slack as a geriatric. Barrel of X-Monkinus? How does Andy's mom not see Slinky Dog's spring falling out an open window? A window she should definitely be wondering how it's open since it's pouring rain and Andy's sister is still too young to open it herself.
Sometimes they get left in the yard or put in the wrong box.
And that box gets taken away.
And then the new owners see the toy and tell the previous owner, hey, I think you accidentally put Andy's toy in here. And then that toy is returned. This is why brains are important. It's terribly depressing as this moment is.
This is why brains are important.
Sequence is a reminder of how far digital animation has come since we first laid eyes on Woody.
There you are. Mom, I found him.
Daddy put Woody on his bed with the rest of the toys, but finds him in the driveway in the rain. Guessing that finding Woody in unexpected places has been a recurring mystery in his childhood. How has he never questioned this phenomenon? We've gone back 9 years to revisit Andy's childhood when we already left his childhood in the previous movie. What kind of nostalgic playing with my Woody moments do we really need? Also, don't let the nostalgic crack of Randy Newman singing You've Got a Friend in Me distract you from the fact that this is basically an overlong credit sequence that amounts to those catch-up montages Netflix shows you when a new season of your favorite show drops.
Turn into a dull roar, Rex. Deep breath. Deep breath. Settle down, Slink.
Oh, good. I found it quickly this time. It's one of these pieces with little grills on them, the details. And the amount of time it took me to find one of these in the last stream was ridiculous.
Forced to be awake, yet they just assume a comatose position and ride out any boring parts in the sweet embrace of inanimate nothingness. Based on the rules established in this universe, why aren't these playing cards alive?
What you gonna need? What about Harry?
How loud is this conversation exactly? Because those toys obviously don't.
Hey, what are you here?
Bonnie, put it that way. As concerned as they seem to be talk, you think they might not want to make obvious changes like that. And sure, a 5-year-old probably won't remember, and no one would believe them if they did. But why risk Dad? The first day of kindergarten section is heart-wrenchingly poignant and proof that Pixar can still hack the human heart. Consider my brain heartstrings sufficiently tugged, you bastards. And the director said, just in case him ignoring her and taking away her supplies isn't enough, let's remind the audience that even 6-year-old assholes have to be eating an apple. Ah, yes, a trick. I'm sure this will happen many more times in this movie, so let's just add 10
Making the Technic parts that allow it to connect into the Falcon's main frame. So all the parts in this set aren't actually secured in with brick connections. A lot of it's like gravity. So I guarantee if I was to something, which by the way would be very hard with the weight of this, just flip it over, panels would just fly off.
Why does he want to go to the trash? It was made from trash.
Full awareness of his toy's backstory and catchphrase. So the rules in this universe remain unclear.
When she started playing with him, she had the biggest smile on her face.
How is Forky's mouth clay staying attached to his face? How is he able to shape it into different expressions on the fly?
Forky? Where are you, Forky? There you are.
Why is Forky not jumping back into the trash here? We know that the toys control their own playing dead moments, but Forky hasn't bought into any of that. Doesn't even want to be a toy. Is completely focused on getting to the trash can. So why is he going limp like the rest of the toys whenever Bonnie is looking?
How was it on the road?
Why would Woody be going on the road trip? Bonnie said,
Dolly and Buttercup and Forky.
and Woody isn't mentioned, which isn't a surprise considering they've already established that Woody isn't her favorite toy right now. The meat mountain is suspiciously cheap for having 2 kinds of meat, multiple buns, tons of veggies, and would require 5 minutes to assemble. Not to mention the strange container that would have to be custom made to fill it. Because she doesn't know how to use the camera, or is the movie saying she jumped out of an RV, snapped a photo of the canyon, then ran back to the vehicle in under 3 seconds? Mind you, she is a Kodak clip and barely see over the wall and is maybe 6 or 7 years old. Where are her goddamn parents? This is an abduction. This fork is either going to learn to love its captors or get mad enough to stab someone. I'm game for the second. I swear to God, this movie is being advised of Forky getting lost, people looking for him, and finding him in some random spot that makes no sense. And nobody questions how he got there.
He was little, but I don't remember it being this hard.
Were you in charge of Andy? Was Andy a newly sentient fork whose sole purpose was to throw himself in the trash? How are the two things even comparable?
The voice inside of you. Who do you think it is?
Is Buzz still an idiot? Because he certainly should know a common figure of speech like this by a forced B plot has to force it to be in my plot, I guess.
I would have put the Star Wars movies on again, but I got copyrighted in one of the streams and just not having that.
Forky having an awareness of his purpose before he became sentient are terrifying. This means on some level your toilet paper is sentient and well aware that it's about to go through. I never thought I'd see an animated version of The Road, but here we are.
Who does she sleep with every night?
The big white fluffy thing?
No, not her pillow.
So you know the words big fluffy white, but not pillow. And later you even correct Woody about the difference between a merry-go-round and a carousel. So pillow should definitely be in your vocabulary. Oh no, there's light coming from
That should be about it. Yes.
I know it seems like an everyday thing that wouldn't catch anyone's attention, but there's an important plot turn that needs to happen. Once he goes in this mail slot, he has no plan on how to get back out again. Believe me, everyone needs an escape plan when antiquing. Is that enough?
So this is the top, and of course, on either side, it comes down at the pointed top of a house.
Jump scares and
Any signs, Woody?
yeah, my actor slows. Very specific instructional recording in a toy is strangely specific and instructional. Not just any Bo Peep, the Bo Peep. Are discarded playground toys a thing? I mean, I found a shovel in the sandbox once, but never anything of substance. Of course, it's quite possible I was too busy applying salve on my third-degree burns from sliding down the metal slide to notice, so we'll just make this sin about public playgrounds in general. I'll hand it to you. The frisbee definitely blocks one side of the world from seeing you, but not the other. Ew.
How do I look?
Practicing for what? Tea time? Well, if she's playing with you, you can't be doing any motions, right? So again, practicing for what?
When my voice box is fixed.
So you just remove your broken voice box and talk with your voice you're using now. As the first Toy Story demonstrated, humans can hear you, just like when you were talking to your toy friends. So why not just back up the toy and speak when your string is pulled? And if you really want to fool people who think your voice is real, you can simply disconnect the voice box so that if anyone checks to see if you have one, they'll see it in there and ask no further questions, unless they're a sicko. Worker in a place where the sun's going down is wearing headphones.
I'm never not gonna find Cinema Sims hilarious.
Also, a better question. How do they see out of this smoke car?
I've been He-Man.
Movie hints at a giggle He-Man hookup without sharing any of the graphic details, and I, for one, am satisfied.
What you looking at, Sheriff?
Yeah, Woody, how's the Bo Peep? Woody.
Meteor shower. Look out. Woody? Good work in her voice. Who are these guys?
Well, Woody, they're additional secondary comic relief characters to help an established property feel fresh and younger. In the industry, it's known as pulling a poochie. Granted, they are a hilarious poochie to pull, but a poochie has been pulled nonetheless.
Go back in time and warn Woody about the future.
Is that a True Detective reference in a kids movie? Because I think that was a True Detective reference in a kids movie.
Oh my, Baker.
So think so. In the last stream last night, I did flick through ahead in the instruction manual. And one thing we should really take and appreciate, this is one of the old ones with the binders. I've built a couple of the modern Ultimate Collector sets. You get like 3 or 4 instruction books. I appreciate all being in one book. Very much preferred. Right.
Okay, Pixar's just showing off now, because that is basically a photorealistic cat. Part of me wants to take off some sins for its incredible digital artistry, but the larger part of me is instead going to sin it because why do cats need to look real? But the humans still look like clumps of plasticine with facial features attached.
Is that how we look on the inside?
Apart from this toy horror moment, I was just wondering what makes any toy sentient. Is it a name on the foot? Because not all the toys have that. Is it his eyes? Not all the toys have eyes. Is it being loved by a human? Not all toys have been loved by humans. What is the rule? Also, I was thinking about Mrs. Potato Head and her eyeball. If she had to have a replacement eyeball, does that mean that she'd be looking out of another potato's eyes? Or does it acclimate to her toy spirit after being pressed into her eye socket?
What are we doing?
Just stand there.
Why is Bo so insistent on making a peep about her plans? In the real world, plans work better when you communicate them to the others involved. In movies, characters are left in the dark for maximum delayed discovery emotional impact. This, as it continues to remind us, is a movie.
Duke the Boom, Canada's greatest comeback.
Yes, I love Keanu too. And Duke is a blast. But the movie is introducing new characters so often I make it hard to keep track of it. What is this, a presidential primary race?
I had a kid. Jean was so excited he got me after Christmas.
Another kid not playing with a toy anymore, guilt trip. More like a guilt skip, am I right?
But when Rajon realized I couldn't jump as far as the toy in the commercial,
After one try.
Got a ride.
So can one see the toy plays when he fingers his ring and tugs his string, or is his randomizer calibrated for maximum convenience. One of the many things that irritate me about scenes like this is that I am so distracted by this impossible jump that I can't focus on what the movie wants me to be thinking, which has something to do with wanting to bang on toys. This customer is only buying this wooden duck, but she's very intently examining its backside. This duck obsession has me intrigued enough that I demand the movie follow that story to its completion or face the consequences. There are many things this movie doesn't get right, but this callback to Wally B is a beautiful nod to the rich history of the animators and all they've accomplished. Roll this in.
You can't teach this old toy new tricks.
Unless there's billions of dollars to be made, in which case, bring on the new tricks.
You're my favorite deputy.
Let's talk about pull string mechanics briefly, shall we? The string is pulled to create spring tension that turns the internal disc, plays the sound, and simultaneously retracts the string. But if the string is not released, the tension can't turn the disc, and therefore can't play
I'm just about done. So once this one's on, I didn't actually remove the top gun port to get it in. So this big piece here.
I'm not so heartless that I want to bow and her sheep to shatter here. Those sheep should be forced to we all know it. How did changing the tire take this long? It was the middle of the day when Jesse sabotaged you. Also, and this might answer my question, but did he fix the tire without a jack?
It's okay. Any minute now, Bonnie will notice her backpack is missing.
You good, Bonnie?
Kids.
Your backpack's at the antique store. Let's go.
Are we pretending that no adults heard that, even though the mother is putting buzz into this cabinet? If this happened in real life, there would be a nationwide buzz-burning panic party. The last time we saw this red slap hand, it was stuck to the top of the carousel. How?
But there we go. All those panels is assembled and it just goes on the side.
I found this old doll. You can take it home if you want.
Wow, brutal and strangely beautiful. The movie somehow manages to not only create empathy for its villain, but reminds us that the things we want to fix about ourselves won't fix everything. These Pixar folks might actually know what they're doing.
Mom, I found it.
See, I know stuff always ends up in weird spots all the time, and nobody ever questions it because the alternative is to think toys are alive, but this backpack was probably searched 100 times before Bobby's parents gave up and Jesse flattened the tire. Well, what about Gabby? And what about the plush toys from the carnival, and the ones at the rave, and the creepy ventriloquist gang, and anything with eyes?
Too many people. Gonna need an alternate route.
So let's definitely do something impossible, like going on the carousel and making Duke Kaboom try a 40-foot jump. That's a lot easier.
Right, so that's the full assembly for people who don't know what we're making.
Knowing where to draw a line and your suspension of disbelief is difficult in talking toy movies, but
Alright, so the back is like the center of the back is the next bit we're doing.
matches GPS screen and also is coming from near his feet instead of the speak.
Another right.
Take another right.
How does Bonnie's dad hear Mrs. Rex from below, but not Buzz from above? He can hear toys.
There we go.
Shouldn't he be
And let's put the gun port on.
closer to his ear holes? The real life physics of a toy this size and weight making this jump would be like a 20-ton city bus jumping a construction site overpass gap without any kind of ramp.
There we go. That does change it out quite a bit, having these, because these are the most complete parts along with the mandible, because the top and the bottoms have been done. So, yeah.
Girl, mom and dad Zira at a carnival, and Jordan Peele is a voice in this movie. It could be her doppelganger. I think I understand the braking and acceleration part of how the toys are doing this, but isn't there a steering element as well to get here? The only way this kid stayed asleep during the insane RV ride is if they spiked her sippy cup. For sure, that's illegal. You've got to be kidding me. The toys have sown the seeds of distrust in this vehicle so much it's a sin to drive this trailer home afterwards.
Listen to your inner voice.
Speaking of which, during the horrific surgery scene, why didn't the ventriloquist...
Alright, let's get continuing.
One piece wasn't working. If Woody had kept his, he could maybe have it replaced someday. I'd give 1,000 cents off if Bonnie said, "Where's Woody?" right now. He left Bullseye. He left Bullseye. I mean, I can almost get on board with everything else, but there's no way Woody wouldn't have had Bullseye come with it. That breaks the cowboy code. Stallions before galleons, or something.
You really have laser eyes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Forced Keanu.
Booking.com has all
Okay,
kinds of
where's the one that has the big long picnic beam?
Because what's right for some might not be right for others. Booking.com.
Now listen, for all we know, I could get a whole bunch of these done in the stream, but we'll find out. I've already done one top panel. Let's see how far we can get with it. It's currently 9:30, so maybe go for another half hour or so.
So the first closet. There's another closet.
Hey, did you know that we here at CinemaSins have a podcast?
I did not know that.
It's true. It's called Syncast, and we've been doing it since all the way back in 2015. Seriously.
Exactly how long have I been asleep?
But since you're currently on YouTube, you may prefer to listen to stuff here, right?
Goddamn right.
For that reason, we're debuting the official Syncast YouTube channel. Yes. You're able to so many videos.
This movie does have so many good moments that I do think ultimately it'll be easy for most people to overlook the stuff that doesn't work well.
In-depth dives into a variety of topics.
Oh, this movie is absurd. It's my type of absurd, though.
Interviews with amazing guests.
Something in me said, just shut up. And Miss Lansbury said, oh, I couldn't. Well, all right. And she sang the first couple of lines a cappella. And the place went on.
And much, much more.
Yeah, it wasn't until watching you in bed at the hospital. I want a whole list of all.
We'll be adding new episodes weekly, and we'll be uploading our backlog of episodes that have been previously published. So, subscribe today, and we hope you enjoy listening as much as we love talking.
That's what I was going with that.
Advises you. What?
And doggone it, people like
Sleep with it.
big white fluffy thing.
No, not her pillow.
Bark pillows.
I don't like it.
Sweet, and the logo is only like 8 seconds long.
No, I don't like what's just happened here.
When this guy runs away, all the other people who were with them run away too. There were at least 5 people besides Indy in this group, but after this, it's just these 2 dudes, including Magnolia's Alfred Molina.
Boys are still fresh. They're following us.
Why would the Poison Dark you've just found indicate that they're following you? If anything, you're following them.
They never were. They were them killed us already.
I see. Coincidental Poison Dark then? This is somewhere between southern Chile and northern Colombia. Hang a ride at the gas station campus. Completely illegible map is completely illegible. Also, I mean, goddamn, that is 4 used McDonald's napkins, not a map. That's pissing. This guy takes no caution in cocking his gun in the front of the business. Like, got the gun somewhere else and it's just giving away. Where did these spiders come from? The shop we saw just before Spider-Man 2 Alfred Molina stayed in the winter, but they're jumping down to see us. And I guess more spiders jumped on Alfred Molina because they know he's up there doing it. Gotta watch the spiders, man. Bad guy detectors. Know that I have nothing but love for this movie. It's an all-timer. Ancient evil rig up a local censored booby trap like this. Did the booby trap just set itself after Indy's rival got killed? How does the whip tie itself around his ball? Stirring it up to support a man's weight. See it from the other side. It's somehow gotten around the wall 3 times. That's what it is. One of the things that makes this movie awesome is how little dialogue or explanation this opening gives you. Largely just watching the action of them solving a riddle. I mean, today the entire first segment will be full of stupid one-liners back and forth, most of it being about cultural misunderstanding. Had been holding the thing in the spot. He had no idea what might happen, or that it would be a dart, or that the dart would hit the wooden dongle instead of an eyeball. Honestly, if avoiding the throw of dinosaurs is all it takes to not trigger the booby trap, then this all seems pretty easy. He releases sand from the counterweight by eyeballing the weight of the idol, which is just beyond ballsy. Now I wonder how long it took to build this glorified storage unit. Now they tested it out. This tribe built a whole temple where you had to avoid a solar booby trap. It's like pitfall, avoid poisonous darts, and then finally, if you get together, you set off an alarm that causes the whole thing to self-destruct and unleashes a folder in the last gas to trap you inside forever. All for this ugly thing. This auto worshippers thought of every day when it came to booby traps. But they did not factor in the speed of the man as runs across the poison So here's the wall of winds that Indy and Boogie Nights off and Lena encountered earlier. The cave is pretty far away in this shot. But yeah, it's just a couple of steps and a dive away. How good is Indy? He's about to outrace a group of this jungle natives. That's really good. Indy tells Jock to start the engine, and we see Jock look up and notice Indy running from all the natives. Then we see Indy.
I'm not enjoying this right now.
Indy runs into the woods, and the trailing native guy fires an arrow 100 feet above Indy into the trees. All these blowers, and no one was able to land a climax. I mean, a kill shot. Oh, and the hand job of Indy's archer is terrible, too. Indy is instantly tired of these motherfucking snakes on his motherfucking leg. Oh, my, that's bad for your eyes. Don't draw on your eyelids, kids, or put lotion on them or anything like that. Most of what you put on the eyelid will leak into the eye. Also, writing left notes on your eyelids. Also, Christ, who threw that? No, there. How did she not wig out? What is happening? Imagine someone writing with an ink pen on your closed eyelids and then explain how she did this. Even if it's mascara and she applied it herself looking into the mirror, it's a minor miracle it came out right. The director said, let's have your character give Dr. Jones an apple after class. It'll make you look like even more of an asshole. Did we just get back from South America and only had time to go straight to class when he got back? Why hasn't he told Marcus about the idol yet? Our discussion on the Ark and Hitler is top secret, so let's find the biggest classroom we could find and leave a few open doors to talk about.
Yet Chavez was consumed by the desert. The sandstorm that lasted a whole year. What's that supposed to be out there?
Power gun. Gotta say, this power gun that comes out of the Ark definitely raises the stakes of this adventure. Can't really have a movie without it, but gosh, the large stone tablets of the original Ten Commandments are guarded with this kind of power. These are very important documents, but it's all about the originals are very important because they say, I will kill you if you look at them. Gun, whip, leather jacket, he's all packed. Let's go to the airport. Let's go right now. The propeller is spinning, and there are 2 flight attendants under the wing. This is a nice image, but Source is even making this possible. This is apparently coming from the fireplace, but the light wouldn't be this even. And there are so many other lights on, it would make shadow work like this impossible.
I was a child. I was in love. It was wrong and you knew it.
This needs a lot more explaining than it gets. Did he do that on purpose? We get modern movies a lot of for how hard it is to keep up with the action. But this part of the Steven Spielberg movie is guilty of it too. A lot of close-ups of random people shooting each other on screen and no idea where everyone is. How long is the bar that Mickey can request a bottle of whiskey and get him to smash this dude over the head to avoid the fire?
They have not one brain among them. Except one. I'll call him Balosh.
Bella. Amazing how Bella went from stealing the idol within these streets to helping the Germans fight in the Earth. How is it that out of all the archaeological finds in the world, it keeps running into Belloc over and over? This might be a good time to search for the Holy Grail. Belloc's busy. Oh, of course the monkey's evil. Why do you bring a monkey to take tabs from traitors? Shoplifting is so get in the movie. Marion runs through this archway, and the guy with the knife hot on her heels can appear. She's going into a building, right? But when the scene cuts, she's still out of the to another doorway. Where's she not to do that with a running man? I don't want to play the music here, but the Jones and Marion theme is very similar to the Han and Leia theme, and they even start with the same 3 notes.
I have it right now. Not a very crowded place, but
Of course, you've already gotten away with at least 3 in the last 5 minutes, so what's one more?
I'm a shipper.
Even I'm not such a picture. I've never understood these sudden children who save Indiana from this situation. We find out later that it's not guilty of something more, but it's not like he's in trouble. And even if he did, why would he send these kids in to protect him when the whole place could erupt in gunfire at any second?
And we take back from Katan to honor the Hebrew God whose arm is
Pretty incredible. He's going to stand for 6 feet tall, but on the first side, it's like, oh, God, that penis up. Anyway,
About 9 in the morning.
okay, but surely you saw staff and honor leaders specific days, like someone hit the bathroom at a different time every day. What day or week did you all end up digging in one place? They had dudes with guns guarding the workers hauling dirt, but they had no armed guards.
Brilliant.
Belloc used a longer staff, and that's why the Germans are digging in the wrong place like that. But did they also not put their staff in the right hole? This hole was covered in sand, despite Belloc being here the previous day. So the Nazis busted didn't arrest him, let him wander away free to make a blanket rope, and didn't stay guarding the map room so he would be able to just waltz back over there to free Indy.
Switch baskets.
Yeah, but how? He was being carried by those two dudes the whole time. If she switched baskets, she must have been throwing her voice too, since she was yelling out of that basket the whole time. And that basket clearly went into the back of that truck that exploded. Also, if she switched baskets, why was she still captured? Is this supposed to be how Belloc had a copy of the medallion? The burned hand only has a few of the markings at the top, while the real one has markings going all the way around. How did they even get enough of the translation to even begin searching in the wrong place? Somehow entirely off screen.
I've had to improvise.
And recruited a bunch of the local workers to stop what
Hopefully we didn't lose too much time on that one.
Also, it's at this point I feel like Indy doesn't think bad guys can't find the ark because they don't have the right coordinates and never will. Technically, he could say variant, leave, and find the ark later. Start a disinformation campaign so that the Nazis will put together and give up their lives because it's too risky. Shift in the image in the background, whatever it is, it makes everything look fake as shit. As they clear off the stone tablet they found digging, I wonder if Indy ever stopped to think he was allowed to come here and find the ark by the very bad guys he chose to get. Down in this room, it's been sitting for years. There'd be so much food and oxygen down here. It's only natural that snakes are crawling all over each other to get their share of the plentiful resources that must be down here. I think Marion is a badass, but for the most part, she's just a damsel in distress. Also, the dress he gave her exactly her size. Also, he just learned the Nazi guy were going to torture her, and now he's being nice to her in the hopes that she will share information before having to be tortured. Why did he have a dress lying around here at all? I don't want to fit her every line and curve perfectly. Never set living snakes on well, I won't be needing this anymore. Wait, you're not going to open it, are you? You're smart, aren't you? Oh, they are opening it because it's not the ark. The casing outside the ark. How did they know that? This lid has to be at least as heavy as that was. That took several
So we're building the bed. It's got two of the big grapes on it. Chances are that'll all we do in this stream. Yes, I know we're not doing too much as we have done in some of them, but well, it means you got a few more streams, I suppose.
Suits to WrestleMania or shorts to revival services? I love this scene. I love it, but there's no reason why this guy has a coat hanger like this. He gets his coat to this it's not like he hangs it up anywhere. I don't think it's sin fun. In the third movie, the Holy Grail was a common cut, not a golden masterpiece. So why would the Ark of the Covenant be any different? Where they got all this fucking gold anyway? Moses specifically condemned them for making the golden calf. Did they melt that down to make the Ark? Because if so, then they probably didn't learn the lesson Moses was teaching about the golden calf. Also, with the long wooden rods that fit perfectly in the holes already here, maybe frames too, but we never heard about it. Feels like they were here already. Why did the people who took such great pains to hide the ark leave so many tools behind for stealing it?
You would use a bulldozer to find that China cup.
In the end, what was the point of those scenes with Marion and Belloc and the weird Nazi guy? Doesn't matter at all. We know Belloc wanted to get Marion drunk. And we use future melty glasses to question Marion about the medallion. We don't even see what he did when he questioned. But in the end, none of that matters because Belloc just stumbled on Indy's dig in the morning. Technically, you could have lost that whole sequence and it wouldn't matter. I know that's to say, because there are some entertaining bits, but seriously, you could have cut that whole Marion tent sequence and the movie doesn't lose anything. Take this. Wait a minute, anything that slithers. This is a dangerous thing to say to a woman who have a sexual past with. Dude has a lit torch between his chin and his shoulder. Well, he is really climbing, and if the movie is going to act like that's cool, I at least will. I mean, it's possible too, which is why I'm sitting it, but it's still cool. That wall was sturdy as I wasn't even standing. This is actually really strong. The steering skeleton can climb pit. Oh, good. They're everywhere. How one solitary snake was camping out in this spot where there aren't millions of snakes. No one disturbs him in his kingdom of the actual skull. They were buried deep in the well of souls, but sure, when Richard finds an exit, all they have to do is climb up like 10 feet. Also, luckily, there appears to be a bunch of stones that form steps to this opening up here, which is weird, since nothing else in this area seems to be missing anything. I guess these were spare stones the Egyptians had left over when they built this place. Hey, it's time for a classic film flow. Today's classic film flow. The stone Indy pushes out is definitely not a heavy stone. You can see the shadow bounce to confirm it. Really fun stuff. Cannibalism. After knocking out the pilot, Marion climbs into the cockpit, and all I have to say is, why? Also, she gets trapped in there and has the pilot just jump down and run away. These heroes are closer without being seen than the hobbits were when they slid down the rocks outside the entrance to Mordor. Half these fucking people behind them should be floating about the white people barely hiding behind a dirt mound. Catch that car on horseback. Good God, man, there's no excuse for missing. You not only have a clear shot, you also have a machine gun. No Egypt expert, but it seems weird that this action scene started in a jungle, momentarily cross into a mountainous region for a convenient car crash, and now it's back in the jungle again. Then he tries to kick this guy off the truck and he nearly falls off a cliff. But when his buddy tries to find him, it looks like completely different terrain. Let's give a round of applause to goddamn stunt people. The stunt is in itself Spielberg's tribute to stunt people. Jeez, this one. That said, both his front and back should be riddled with cuts, bumps, bruises, and other signs of having been dragged across a desert road. Everyone is happy and singing and dancing. The hero has his arm around the ground. There's no way this is done. How can the characters in the movie be so dumb? Did Marion not get another change clothing after all that? He's still stressed and it's rich and muddy and I think of the mud, but damn, she would have found some good clothes by now. Falling asleep during their Karen Allen seduction. The arc is in this Nazi crate. So why take so long? And why doesn't it finish the job? And why is it burning when the arc itself hasn't even been opened yet? Is this really happening? Is he really climbing out of a steam pipe like a goddamn cartoon?
We are not in the position to ask for anything. We will take what we wish.
I'm pretty sure this guy is just being a Nazi asshole. Asshole? But earlier, this guy wanted to throw Marion down into the well of souls for absolutely no reason. My guess is the script dictates his every move, which is going to get him in hot water with Hitler. Steven Spielberg's Das Boot. I love this scene where Indy
Das Boot.
takes his uniform, but it really makes me wonder how nobody sees this. I mean, the people patrolling this walkway would have seen not only the first guy get beat up, but also the second guy. Not to mention Indy trying on new clothes. Even when doing field work, you still need pole-holding jinglists.
Your persistence surprises even me.
Holy, did he just swallow that block? For some reason, they kept Jones and Marion alive and tied them up to watch the show. There's zero reason for them to do this, unless they know we are all watching Beating Resolution. The don't look at it idea comes out of the sheer blue. I guess this comes from years of study, and it's an educated guess, but this hasn't even been hinted at until now. This arc is no longer a viable weapon. People can just shut their eyes and avoid the consequences. Word on the battlefield would get around pretty quick about this weakness. Also, I sort of wish that the Archangel that's about to come out and kill a bunch of Nazis was actually doing it because they were Nazis, and because Belloc is clearly evil. You think an angel would know who's good or bad and kill accordingly. Nightmare fuel! Are the Nazis being sent to heaven? Maybe they're just going in for processing. Peter will ask them the usual round of questions. They'll fail, obviously, but kind of a weird scene watching this Nazi mist go into the clouds here. Oh, hey, look, the flames cut the rope without killing us. Sweet. Oh, hey, how do we get off this island? Miriam, do you know how to drive a submarine? Never mind. I'll read the manual. It'll be in German, but I think I can get the gist of it.
Well, the nice spot situation is totally unacceptable.
Indiana Jones now knows there's proof of God. I mean, he won't be able to make anyone believe him, but it's a bit surprising it doesn't change his life in a meaningful way.
Well, I know what I've got here.
But think, this romance is going to produce a kid named Mutt. I've always loved the mystery of this warehouse. Thousands of crates that all contain something the government doesn't want you to see. The Ark is just one of many.
I made a little mistake there.
After watching Raiders of the Lost Ark and you move on to this movie, you are right to ask, what the is this?
Anything goes.
Yep, this movie is basically telling us to expect some absolutely deranged and evil shit that will, in just a month after this movie and Gremlins come out, lead to a new PG-13 rating. That's right, this movie where a dude pulls out another dude's heart was PG. Who gave zero back in the 80s?
This is Indiana Jones, famous archaeologist.
At this point, what would Indiana Jones be famous for? Since this is a prequel, he hasn't done anything with the Ark of the Covenant yet. And apparently every time he makes a huge discovery, some asshole steals it from him.
I suggest you give me what you owe me, or anything goes.
Incorporating the opening musical number into your threats.
Oh boy.
Why is Indy drinking anything passed to him by guys who tried to steal Norharty's ashes from him just last night, and who pulled a gun on him seconds ago, and tried to pay him coins instead of the diamond?
Poison was fast.
It just Lau has this little concern for Willie, then why did Lau give Indiana what he wanted when Indy was threatening her with the roast pork earlier?
That's not a waiter.
That's where the character's single trait is that she is the equivalent of the guy.
That's a theme that I have always wanted to buy more stuff from, but haven't. It's Indiana Jones. I've got one set from the theme, and it's Shanghai Chase. Funny, the opening scene of that movie.
Champagne bottles are getting uncorked and time one of them perfectly. Well, doesn't feel a shot to his chest until he inspects the broken glass. Also, even though blood starts seeping through the shirt, neither it nor the jacket have a bullet hole in them.
Well, I don't think it's me.
I mean, it's only a thing that I'm not in any other Indiana Jones movies or TV shows. They show up in a couple books and a video game, but yeah, anyway, so many adventures. Someone dying of a fast-acting poison, Indy still has the strength to throw a flaming shish kebab so hard that it penetrates a man's chest and kills him. Now we get to enjoy over 2 minutes of Willie chasing the diamond and Indy chasing the antidote while being attacked by random henchmen. And by enjoy, I mean wonder how this is only a 2-minute sequence, but feels like it goes on for all of some time. He's had the poison Indy's brain up so much he needs to punch the cigarette lady. He's the good guy, right? Indiana into this cart and push him into the van. He'll think twice before before he crosses the likes of us. He's throwing knives plunged into a fucking statue instead of bouncing off of it. And they should have fucking bounced. That time it doesn't look a damn thing like ice. Quit acting like this has turned into a needle in the haystack scenario. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Blooms. Why does every single bullet this guy shoots go underneath? Oh, wait, I forgot George Lucas introduced this. Also, Indy doesn't have any weapons. No reason why this guy can't run up and get a better shot. This nonsense is especially egregious when Indy runs behind the goal. Ah, I see. They were at Club Obi-Wan the whole time. That name probably means a lot to people living in 1935 Shanghai. For others, they just weren't cool enough to get the reference.
Wow! Holy smoke!
Right. Is this guy everything, everywhere, all at once? Short Round somehow knew to drive the car up to this exact location at this exact time.
Your potatoes!
Hold on to your potatoes.
Another kind of girl!
Indiana is most definitely reaching down a woman's dress without her explicit consent. But there was nothing okay about that. But why didn't Willie already give him the antidote?
Hey, what you doing?
Kids. I'm glad this character is going to be with us for the whole movie.
Quite a big
She's
segment.
going to be with us for the whole movie. Also, a female character getting horribly upset in a dangerous situation. She's cracked the neck cliche.
Dr. Jones,
This Dan Aykroyd cameo doesn't contain any Dan Aykroyd. Also, assuming that the third person was going to be Han, and not really, how short of a notice did Mark have to acquire this plan? Like, this was part of the plan from the very beginning. Or is he saying he somehow called Mark on his 1930 cell phone on the way here? No one would refer to someone as the famous American female vocalist. You say, Willie Scott, the singer. I'll just simply ask, are you Willie Scott? King Art Allow Jay have these plain shenanigans set up. The way things go down, he had to. But if he was planning on poisoning Indy at the club, then why go through all the trouble of setting this up? He'd also have to have Art on his payroll for this to happen, since it was apparently the best he could find on short notice. So wait, were the pilots hoping that everyone would be asleep to carry out this plan? What if they weren't? And this also requires them to be able to walk past them without waking up.
We're not thinking! We're crazy!
Look, Kate Capshaw does everything this movie requires of her, and this is not her fault. But seriously, Willie Scott is one of the most annoying characters ever put on film. All the people who thought Indy survived the explosion by building himself in the refrigerator was ridiculous. Most of the guy had an inflatable wrap
3, 4, 5,
6,
7, 8.
Screen image look like they're fighting and about to give it force. Also, this explosion. Wow, these guys landed on a mountain that's basically a goddamn ski resort. I'm not sure what the bigger sin is here, but they survived it all. Let's just give 2 cents and move on. This might sound these two.
This bit contains a giant circles on the back. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I 7 of the other ones of these. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Why does this guy think he's going to battle pure evil and take back a sacred stone stolen from his village? All Indy did was show up on a raft carrying a kid and an American singer. He didn't say, I'm Indiana Jones, conqueror of evil. Or you see some famous that his exploits reach tiny rural villages in India. Steven Spielberg runs with a blatant and pretentious Jaws reference, so Michael Bay and Ambulance could fly with a blatant and pretentious The Rock reference, also known as the sequel.
So these big circle bits go in the back. It uses like these radar dish pieces here, which it just shows you the scale, because in the Lego normal size set, those are just small stickers. It's things like that that make you realize the scaling at this moment.
Says they stole their children.
Indiana Jones and the When a Stranger Calls.
Shankara.
Why the hell did Indy come all the way up here to look at the parchment? Does he need the best view possible to think about treasure hunting?
Many of the children still there.
Why is Short Round relaying this information to Indy? Couldn't Indy have just waited long enough in the village to hear what the kid had to say about the other children? Seriously, why is he up here? Steven Spielberg is bringing out so many flourishes from his other films.
So it's like the main kind of part down now. From here on out is really just detailing you need to do.
Watching Willie struggle with getting on top of the elephant without actually helping
2,
him get on top of the elephant. He's thinking like this.
Not going to Delhi, doll. We're going to
3,
Bangkok Palace.
Waiting until now to deliver this news to Willie. But also, why does he have to go with them? There has to be another guide.
4, 5,
Why would Indy even want her to come? He seems to be
6,
surviving. Even if he didn't, I can't imagine he would want her to risk her life along with him on this quest. Willie is the Willie's square peg trying to fit Indy's round hole. Let's play a ring around the fire. Willie could just move away from the element. This movie really likes its situational humor, which is weird because very little of it is funny.
First family grew up with a Japanese mom saying guys been living on the streets since he was 4. I caught him trying to pick my pocket. Didn't I? Sure stuff.
So kidnapping him and putting him in my adventures was the only natural thing to do. I'm trying to wrap my head around how this would even happen. How would really not realize she's touching something that is not her clothing? How would the bat let this happen? What was the bat doing on the ground? Why are we teaching Common Core math to kids? I have so many questions.
I said,
Temple doing it to come in like this. What's went on? Come on from the autoplay is just a video. It's all everything wrong with all the Indiana Jones movies.
My name is Indiana Jones. Dr. Jones? The eminent archaeologist.
Man, being an archaeologist in 1935 must have been like being John Lennon in the 60s.
The British find it amusing to inspect us at their convenience.
The British.
Sneak. Surprise.
If you're stuffing eels inside a giant snake and calling it a meal, you're basically tearing down all the hard work you've done to make your temple look wholesome and good. This whole eating sequence definitely freaked me out as a kid, but as an adult I can see it's just an excuse to make fun of other cultures. This scene is gross, but it has all to do with the problematic point that is being made and nothing to do with the visuals that are presented to us.
Peasants there told us Panko Palace was growing powerful again because of some ancient evil.
If you're Indiana Jones, why would you bring this up? If you know the temple is running a crooked shop, you wouldn't want them to suspect why you're here, right? Does this asshole think he's James Bond?
I'm sorry. Thought we were talking about folklore.
Dude, you just said the villagers told you that the palace had taken something from them. You know, in the modern day. Nothing about folklore. You're this shop, man. Someone's going to be waiting in your bedroom to kill you now. Are you happy about that?
And wasn't it the Sultan?
Yeah,
who threatened to cut your head off?
Seriously, how does rando pancot guy know so much about Indy? It's not like he knew Dr. Jones was coming. The director says, let's give Dr. Jones an apple so the audience will know he's an asshole. And then the director
This will be the last bit we build on stream. Yes, it was short, unfortunately, but we got that bit done and we'll get this bit done. In my mind, that's not the worst amount of progress we'll have done on one of these streams. As soon as you get more streams.
You want me, Willie, or you can find me.
In a bedroom you're sharing with a young boy. This maybe wastes a lot of time on whether Indy and
One, two,
I'm sure I'm glad you waited all this time to try and kill Indy. Think of all the tremendous
three,
humor about Indy and Willie's
four.
egos we would have missed. So these flowers are moving because there's some sort of draft. There's no way it's moving them that much when the secret room is pretty tightly shut. Also, why would they do it only in a room where the secret passage is located? I guess it could be hubris, but why can't they have chances to Well, look at that. Same drawing and everything. That sure worked out well for all involved in the quest. Why would there be so many bugs swarming around this one side? It's not a place where all the evil resides, but just came from a bedroom and you're about to walk into another room that's just one big booby trap. Why is the entire kingdom here? So they walk from the bug chamber to this room, which is a booby trap for some reason. Really, the only practical reason why this room is a booby trap is because it's a holdover from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Got to give the fans what they bought. But even the way a booby trap is silly.
Alright, let's get these bits on. Again, it's more or less just the detailing at this point.
Sense. Why would you build all this next to a random bedroom in the palace? Another instance of I broke a nail. Jesus Christ, why is this character? Here's an extra 50 cents for this movie going out of its way to make Willie Scott the most insufferable character in the history of cinema. Also, how does she not feel this giant bug resting on her hand?
You can do it. Feel inside.
What movie? You can't show me all the spikes this close to their heads and then 20 seconds later pretend like the ceiling hasn't already collapsed and skewered and smashed these guys yet. Indy and Willie are able to get across the room and under the descending wall in time. Valuing a hat this much. Jeez, I guess reaching into a dude's chest with your bare hands is pretty easy if that man's chest is made of paper mache. Looks like these guys are gonna die historic on the Fury Road. This might be the most specific sacrifice ritual ever made. Tear a dude's heart out, keep him alive, put him in a cage, and then melt his body? What the hell draws people to this religion? Do people get laid in this cult?
That's the route they took from the village.
Super obvious statement is super obvious.
where is he going?
Since there were guards behind Willie and Short Round, why did this asshole jump in front of them in the first place? Were the guards like, hey, Hank, we can grab him from behind? And then Hank replied with, yeah, that would work, but wait till I stick my head up and scare him. I'd like to know if I still have the ability to make people the pants. The isolated scream of one child is what brought Indy here, but when he arrives, we see hundreds of child slaves all working in this huge factory. He would have definitely heard more commotion and definitely more than just a single child screaming as if it were coming from hell's baby monkey. I appreciate Indy trying to save this kid, but that doesn't mean I buy for a second he would alert everyone to his presence without having a better plan in place. behind Indy the whole time? What were they waiting for? And are they trained to pull all their blades out in unison? Do they get punished if any of them are off the mark? I want to know more about these guys. Where's their movie? Why are some of the prisoners chained up to where they can't move? And Shorty and a couple of the other kids are chained at the hands, but they can move around freely.
I keep telling you, you listen to me more, you live longer.
Short Round is still capable of making jokes and locked up in the child slavery dungeon.
Drink the blood, then I'll fall into the black sleep of the Kalima.
Conveniently placed prisoner that delivers Indy and Short Round much needed knowledge is conveniently placed.
Soon we will have all the 5 chakra stones, and the Tuggies will be all powerful. What vivid imagination.
Maybe you saw a man get his heart removed, and he was still alive. Maybe it's not imagination. I mean, Indy is still 22 years away in his timeline from seeing aliens, so he's not quite there
Right.
yet. But these Sankara stones are going to look realistic as hell compared to what goes down in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Will a leather jacket, hat, and whip necessary for the Indy voodoo doll to work? Did the film make the Maharaja a kid so Short Round would have a nemesis? Because I think the film made the Maharaja a kid so Short Round would have a nemesis. Even if these people
Yeah, 1 second.
this is still way too much overcandling. And why are there 3 candles per foot on the stone slab Indy is lying on? Meanwhile, in Bram Stoker's Dracula,
I have anything nice to say about this place when I get back.
many people are unaware that shortly after these events, Willie Scott would create TripAdvisor. It's pretty clear how being able to scold it, and there are always multiple slave drivers looking over to make that fact clear. But now, when Short Round wants to break his chains, nobody's around. Why the fuck is there a rope dangling from this red hole?
Like, look at the amount of detail you have to put on this. It's not even done the amount of details you have to put on this part alone, so it does take a while.
There's not even a little bit of explanation on why the sacrifice was different from the previous one we saw. Somehow, after drinking blood that changes your entire demeanor, a dream from which you never wake up, someone can serve you and it snaps you out of it. We have a ritual headpiece off. We have a ritual headpiece on. What? This trapdoor is more ridiculous than the one Rami Malek uses in No Time to Die. White savior narratives. Okay, everybody, when you're running out of the palace, make it look like you haven't seen the sunlight in a very long time. Just, well, I guess that message got to about 2 of you.
Right, last couple of steps we're gonna do.
From the doll. He had Indy down for the count.
Like on the, unless there's like on the off chance, I have only to use these pieces. On the off chance, the next step would take me like 5 minutes, which I doubt.
Indy's head will be this close to the rock crusher for the next 14 goddamn seconds. Die if he can, since this is a prequel anyway. He should be dead. They have villains finally coming at Indy with swords this whole time. The movie expects me to believe that Short Round's kicks and punches. I know I've been giving this movie a lot of crap, but the mine cart sequence is the shit. And it's one of the most memorable parts of all 3 films. Because there are only 3 films in the Indiana Jones franchise. But also, a literal roller coaster ride. Like, who the f- made these tracks do this shit and why? We got company! You take Han Solo out of the Star Wars, but you can't take the Star Wars out of Han Solo. Introducing one of the funniest, not the actors, shots in movie history. How big is this mine anyway? I thought the Cali Gulf was just by a priest in a catacomb. It's the full mine that goes through mines. Why would they ever need something this huge and intricate to search what should be a relatively small area? This is probably more possible than the jump in speed. I'm sorry, I can't say that with a straight face. But still, moving.
All right, now I was wondering how you could connect this, but now I'm understanding why. Oh, not why, but how.
I like how this movie shows the alligators down below, as if the steep fall off this bridge wouldn't kill them first. Also, they're supposed to be crocodiles, but they filmed alligators. Movie doesn't know how to geography. Hey, look, it's a repeat of that scene from Raiders when Indy casually shot that guy. But guess what? He knows he doesn't have a gun here, right? How can he possibly not know that at this point? He needed a gun in the worst way for like the last 30 minutes of this movie. Amazing how the big hole Short Round put into this bridge.
Just like the center of the back. It's gonna look. It'll change the look because obviously this has looked like this for about a week nearly.
How does Mola Ram know for certain the stones will be found? And who's going to look for them in alligator-infested waters? This bridge is on for some time. Yeah, really around tying themselves.
All right, last couple parts.
What about this confuses Mola Ram? Indy's been holding the sword up for the last 20 seconds. Loudly going for a ride. Read the room. Because of all the different things Mola Ram would do while hanging from a broken bridge on a cliff, it's that Kali and Ma bullshit.
There we go.
So well, I think he gave Mola Ram the idea to do it. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but this guy is evil. There are like 50 archers on this bridge. You'd think one guy, even with terrible aim, would hit Indy.
Take the gun port off again.
Guys, I no longer know what's going on. It's crazy how gently Mole Ram's body hits this rock on the way down, as if physics is forgiving. By the way, with this movie and Romancing the Stone, we were kind of obsessed with people getting eaten by crocs and gators in 1984, weren't we? Movie pretends like Short Round can't find another angle to see Indy hanging from the bridge, or ask the other side if they can see him. Movie shows Indy, Willie, and Short Round walking a lonely walk when we know there are hundreds of children following them.
Ah, there we go. So it's on there, it's on the back, it's great. On this occasion, I'll lift up the falcon so you can see. That center bit there. Like and subscribe because this thing's not fun to hold at certain angles.
What are they supposed to tie their horses to, though? Dead shrubs? God damn it, kid. We get it already. That's young Indiana Jones. Just want to have a look at that man moving in the house. Sheriff, it's not like it's a plot. Right. Rob that. Sheriff. Fedora and his crew can't hit this pistol for the greatest piece of dialogue ever written. He's got our thing. Vehicles that have been closer to the cave entrance to the place and should have been other people were already here, magically show up from some hidden place when Fedora whistles for them. Wait, the bad guys had a truck waiting back where Indy's horse was? I am obligated to send this car driving over this terrain without incident. Unnecessary orders.
There, I need a slight adjustment. The reason I keep taking this off, right, is it makes you build it, but it doesn't like it tells you how to put it on. But you kind of have to have it off for the most part, but there. So all the Falcon really needs is the panel that goes here, 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 the tunnel, here, and here. So, even though the chances are I'm not going to do it, I won't build whatever it is. Let's see what's next. Pull a giant panel. One, two, three, 4, 5. Yep. I'm not gonna build this next section. Yes, we didn't do too much, but we did, like, I would say enough. Like, we did 2 of the paneling, but again, it's the amount of detail and a lot of small pieces you have to go through to get them on those. I'll pack up on stream in case everybody wants to comment or say anything.
The narrative, and God knows what happened to the other Boy Scouts and their leader. So Indy's signature hat look came from the thief who bought out the local cops to steal back a cross Team Indy took from him. That's disappointing. This asshole grabs the cross and is entirely too happy about getting it when he's still got bad guys to contend with on a boat in the middle of the goddamn ocean during a storm. After this huge explosion, a magical life raft shows up right next to Indy so that he can luck his way into the next scene. Who found him in the middle of the ocean? Well, very few people know this, but it was the RMS Carpathia. You got it. Yes, I wanted to teach a class first before bringing you this monumental discovery. Didn't have time to do it beforehand. Just got off the Carpathia 15 minutes before the morning bell. Indiana kept the cross of Coronado in a unlocked drawer the whole time instead of a safe. He's been through entirely too much over this cross just to leave it exposed like that. He vastly overestimates Dr. Jones' popularity. Why the hell would so many people be eager to talk to him? Did someone time travel in 1989 to find films of his exploits? This office is honestly laughable. He has a huge water heater behind him, which is supposed to be a joke about how little the university respects his craft despite his apparently insane popularity. But then it's clear this is also the main storage facility for all the artifacts he's found. And storing old things near water is a recipe for disaster. But the film is only interested in advancing that Dr. Jones has so many artifact plot lines. So you need...
I know who you are, Mr. Donovan. Your contributions to the museum over the years have been extremely generous.
Makes you wonder, man, why he needed to send his men, shrouded him like he had no choice but to come see their boss a minute ago. Yes, we know Donovan is a...
Some of the landing gear parts are falling off and are on the floor around here. This keeps happening.
Every man's dream, including your father's, I believe.
It's these strut pieces.
I won't tell you until the end of this scene. Anyway, you ever see that John Cleese movie about the Holy Grail? We are the knights who say me.
After the Grail was entrusted to Joseph of Arimathea, it disappeared and was lost for 1,000 years before it was found again by 3 knights.
Before it was found again, there's doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sense. Where, and how was that found again?
So it does look.
The manuscript
I'm happy the back portion's being touched. The main corners are done, so it's getting to a place I'm quite happy with it so far. Let's see. This is live stream number 8. I'm gonna pause that. So this is live stream number 8. Say we could probably most likely done by, I want to say 10 or 11. It just depends how much longer it's going to take me. Like how, because these next couple of live streams will all be about the same length as this one, like an hour and 20 minutes, give or take. Might not be ideal, but it's kind of what I'm able to work with at the moment. But yeah, the build it's looking great. I'm happy with it. It's one of those sets I've wanted for a better part of 15 years. So having it on the shelf and how big it is and how enjoyable the build is, it's because there's a few sets I've bought over the last couple of years that I wanted for years, but when I got them, had them, they looked good and whatnot, had good minifigures, but when you get them in hand, suddenly, like it in no way, shape, or form meets the expectations. But yeah, I know the news we officially do have one of the drawers have been completely and utterly emptied, which is pretty cool. So with that, we're getting very close to the end. They're very exciting bunch of live streams because I'll admit, right, prior to this, me buying the set, I had occasionally looked them up. And I was in that position where I just found such a good deal. I couldn't help myself, so I went out and bought one. As I do. But I've decided I need to announce this on the other places I do this type of content, but from now on, any big sets such as UCS sets or anything like ultra rare collectible like that, I want to live stream exclusively here on YouTube. Now, the software I'm using to do this, I think lets me stream on multiple places at once, so I could also do other platforms, but it's kind of cool to have the YouTube exclusive ones. We'll continue this maybe around the same time, if not a little bit earlier tomorrow. We can do it a little bit. There we go. If I can do it a little bit earlier, then maybe we can do it for longer. I don't know, but it is. It's looking great. But yeah, it's pretty much just all paneling from next year on out, and then the plaque. That'll be a big moment for me when I actually, have the plaque, put the sticker on, and then sticker is in this set are pretty much brand new. And just put it in the shelf next to the falcon. That'll be cool. All the figures in front of it, unless people think I should put them in the cockpit, because the figures in this set were not special ones. At the time, they're just standard figures that were already out. But this concludes this live stream number 8 for Building the Falcon.